Let's get to the business at hand. Mike, welcome to Airborne and AEA 2023.
Thanks, Jim.
66th annual trade show and our 15th live streaming. So by now, hopefully we got it right.
Nice.
What's new at Shadin? Tell me.
So we have been continuously working on some great engineering projects. As you know, Shadin is all about data conversion products and fuel flow transducers, as well as supporting a lot of our older legacy products through air data computers and a number of other fuel systems.
And there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of them. Engine trend monitors, and name a whole.
You guys got around.
We did. And I will say that we're working back into that innovative phase of engineering, working with some big OEMs. I can't disclose all of them, but some big OEMs working on embedded type boards, like electronics, that have to be certified, either 178, 254 type boards. But some of the new things I wanted to talk about is working on a program to customize the K factor of fuel flow transducers. These are for piston, so low flow type applications, right up through turboprop, whether you're pumping a lot of gallons per hour. So a lot of the forward fit Garmin cockpits will have a set K factor within their G1000 or G3000 integrated cockpit, and it restricts the types of fuel flow transducers that you can use. So we're now opening up that market. Instead of the Garmin configuring the K factor in the maintenance setup modes, we're going to be able to do it from our side. And so we'll be able to go into a lot more aircraft and have that configurable K factor.
Outstanding. Where do you go from here?
Well, we're going into a lot of different places, right? So our converter products, we do a lot of converter products when it comes to synchro to ARINC, analog to ARINC, and go back and forth. There was also, the unfortunate events of Skylight over the last year. There's a lot of products that they had, and their customers continue to need those products, which Shadin can step in and be able to supply.
That's got to be a tough gig.
It is. I've gotten to know the Skylight team that's still remaining and supporting some of their activities to transition a lot of those products to their customers. But their doors shut very suddenly, and we've gotten a lot of calls from their customers, and we've been able to satisfy a lot of those needs, including a DDA. It's a digital discrete adapter for ADS-B.
All right.
That's currently under the CMD's SDC. This is a product that was announced from a couple other companies yesterday, but we're actually under the SDC. We're a PMA part that could deliver tomorrow. So it could be interesting to some of the folks needing that.
Well, when you're stepping in on an issue like that, where a serious problem has been raised and people are panicking, I would imagine the issues involved in that, both from the regulatory as well as just plain old customer relations, have to be pretty ponderous.
Yeah, we got a great team. Our customer support team is awesome in handling those calls. Just anybody reach out to Trevor or Kenny. They're always picking up the phone, or Jana is also back at the office. And we're doing what we can to try to keep the supply chain healthy and get people parts that they need. And we can also customize a lot of the parts that we have too. So if there's somebody that needs a specific conversion from one thing digital to analog to synchro, whatever, we're there for them. Might take a little bit of time to configure the engineering and the software, but we can do just about everything.
Holy smokes. Yep. Good to know. Well, this is an industry that has to dodge and weave with some interesting problems over the years, the last couple in particular, between pandemic-related issues, economy issues, so forth and so on. It's required people to be very inventive out here.
Yeah.
One question, there are two questions that have been asked of virtually everybody who's come out here. One is about finding people to staff these companies, the combination of training, acquisition, maintaining them, and so forth and so on. How are things going on your end in that area? Do you have any interesting insights on what it takes to keep staffing this industry?
It's a challenge, for sure. We're based out of Minneapolis, so we have a good technical talent there from the schools to the universities that are graduating engineers, so software, electrical, engineers, a little bit of aerospace coming out of the colleges up there as well. We are always hiring, almost always hiring. You know, we're looking for people either right out of school or within 2 to 5 years of experience, and teaching them a lot of the aerospace and avionics skills that they need. They come out with really strong software background, but when you need to learn the processes at 178, and you know, we're also AS 9100, so they have to fall into our quality management system. There's the work to get our customers a product, and then there's the work to make sure that they're complying with FAA standards. So it's cool work that we're working on, and that really motivates the engineers that we have and that have been with us for many years, because it's really unique problems that they're trying to solve, you know, on really cool airplanes. And yeah, as you know, airplanes are very complex system engineering challenges in the sky, and our engineers are really strong to be able to solve those.
Well, it's a fascinating business in that, one, we're always talking about simplicity and trying to keep things simple and so forth, and yet between the regulatory environment and what the customer demands, it's also almost an impossible mission now. Simplicity is almost a joke, but certainly interesting stuff. The regulatory environment right now, how is the FAA treating you? Are they sufficiently staffed to meet your needs, especially when you're heading for certification?
Loaded question there.
Yeah, I know. I've been asking everybody. I'm not picking on you.
No, I hear the challenges that other companies have. We have an extremely good relationship with our ACO. I'd say we haven't had any disruption in the quality of service that we've needed as we've gone and done SDCs and TSOs over the last 2 or 3 years. As you know, I'm on the Gamma board, and we talked to the FAA. We're going up to the Hill next month, and we hear that there's a lot of issues with the FAA. There's a lot of challenges. They're trying to get a really strong staff put in place, and there's a lot of new talent in the FAA. So we're going up there to bring our expertise to the congressman and to educate the people on the Hill as to why aerospace is important, why they need to continue to support the FAA, and get that service that the FAA needs back to the manufacturers like us.
Like Sam Graves' efforts at this point to point out GA as an insular part of reauthorization. I don't know in the long run if that will really help, but it certainly can't hurt. So we'll see what happens with all that. Looking around the industry right now, overall, what is, from your standpoint as a manufacturer, as well as somebody who's working with a number of other companies within this industry, what changes are you seeing, and what do you see the trends going?
Yeah, so we're on those trends. We see a lot of movement towards advanced air mobility, especially in the autonomous realm, autonomous cargo being the first one that's really catching on. We're working with a number of autonomous companies to do to overcome a few of their challenges. So, as I said earlier, we do embedded electronics. A lot of these new entrants in that space, they're trying to get the same talent that we've had and been able to grow. And so they're outsourcing a lot of their products to whoever they can find, whether it's a company like Shadin or a sister company, Electronic Concepts and Engineering, ECE. We're able to satisfy and meet some of the requirements that we're getting. Like I said, autonomous aircraft, we're doing some engine data acquisition type products. We're the embedded electronics and control for a lot of actuation for anti-skid braking systems. We have this awesome product that actually measures the weight and balance of air transport aircraft. And there's a lot of applications like that we're right in the middle of, that we're not out here selling at AEA, but we are satisfying for our customers' needs.
What's your experience been with the autonomous community, without naming names, of course?
Right.
There's a tremendous amount of money out there, a lot of really interesting ideas. Ultimate execution potential looks kind of intriguing. Let's just be polite about it. But when with the kind of work that you're doing, you're down in the dirt with this stuff. You're working with folks that are trying to build the subsystems and so forth that can eventually, if possible, make them work. What's your experience been with the industry overall to this point?
There's a huge amount of energy and, like you said, money in that space. I think they will create some aircraft. They will be creating a new market. As you know, everything in aerospace takes longer than anyone predicts, so I expect that it will happen, but it will happen on a different time scale than a lot of the major companies with a lot of investment want. But their intentions are right. There's just so many challenges when it comes to building the aircraft, getting the electronics and the avionics installed and the automation involved, and then the certification piece. And then obviously you got to get people or cargo on there as well, which is, that's something that the industry in general has solved over the last 100 years, and they're trying to break some of those normal ways we go to an airport and get on an airplane to be more convenient and more available to the masses. Some big challenges, but when it comes down to it, they're needing to solve engineering problems, whether it's autonomously for these vehicles or whether it's with a pilot. And there are companies like Shadin that are out there solving it. So it's a lot of fun because it's always great to see new technology and innovation happening. And I don't know, as an engineer, it's a great place to be.
There you go.
A lot of good conversations.
Overall, to the community out there that we are addressing in many ways, the GA community and business aviation and the like, what is it about Shadin that people don't know that you think they should?
Yeah, so we solve people's problems. And we do it in the basically the computing that's behind the scenes. So if you're an actuator company or a brake company and you don't want to do the electronics piece, that's what we do. We've done many certifications. We've brought many products to market. We've assisted our partners, a couple companies to just throw out there, Advent, that does anti-skid brakings for a number of aircraft. Avix, Aero, which I mentioned about the weight and balance calculator. We've worked many years with our partner there to build a system that allows an aircraft to measure the actual weight and center of gravity of the aircraft instead of having to calculate it and then getting an approximate answer.
Well, that's
actually
making it too easy
calculating
now
exact
for us,
answer.
buddy.
It is. It's really cool and we're just trying to sell it to the airlines.
Yeah.
The airlines would be the first ones to grab it, but it'll also work in cargo, military. There's a huge amount of applications for it.
That's a big job in the military.
Yeah.
Being able to displace loadmasters and the like would be such an interesting break in the chain of how things are done.
Absolutely. Yep.
Ouch. That's kind of wild. Holy smokes. You mentioned before about supporting legacy products and all. There's a kind of an interesting schism out there between the companies who will and the companies who won't. Because there's a lot of folks out there who have been out there for a long time. Yep. They've got airplanes they don't want to mess with because ain't broke, don't fix it, and so forth. What responsibility should you as a manufacturer have to supporting legacy products, and more important, where's the limit?
So we have our own legacy products,
right,
which we support just about every product that we've ever brought to market. So we either repair it or replace it if we need to. But Shadin's in a unique position where we're able to make new products talk to some of the older products that are still in the aircraft. So if you don't want to replace
basically aviation marriage counselor.
There you go. Like if you want to keep your old autopilot, say Citation 10 or something of that nature, we're able to put in, basically have the digital avionics, whether it's an Avidyne or Garmin or whoever else, be able to talk to that older autopilot system. So you're able to kind of mix new and old avionics and electronics in the aircraft by using some of our converters. Yeah, and that's what keeps us in business. We do a lot of problem solving in that space to be able to allow people to put in new electronics into the older aircraft. We're also, can't disclose this customer either, but on the military side, we make a switch that allows somebody to use a civilian FMS GPS system on a military aircraft. So they're able to display information from a civilian GPS on their military displays in the front of a helicopter.
Okay.
So lots of applications for foreign military sales where they're not able to use the encoded, encrypted GPS from the US military, but they still want to fly with GPS. They flip this switch, that data is passed from their mission computer to the civilian GPS receiver through our box to their displays.
That sounds like a healthy market.
We hope so.
There you
We're
go.
just finishing up releasing that product to market over the next couple months. They're doing flight tests right now, and that'll be, it's a military application, but it is a DAL-B product that is going through our FAA cert process.
How big is Shadin? How many folks working with you, and is it all based in Minneapolis, or are you split off into other areas?
So we have 35 people.
Okay.
Around half of those are engineers,
Mm-hmm.
and if they're not doing engineering, they're ex-engineers doing sales or leadership,
Mm-hmm.
and good manufacturing in the back as well. We pump out a huge amount of fuel flow transducers every week, every day. So we're a good-sized company. And then, as I mentioned, we have a sister company in Toledo, Ohio, which is around 20 people. About three-quarters of those are engineers. And we do a lot of military-type programs with ECE. And as we're growing, we're actually sharing a lot of the work. Like if we're understaffed with, say, an electrical engineer, I'll tap into the ECE company to build the schematics and build a customized design for a Shadin product, for example.
Sounds like you're staying busy.
Say again?
Sounds like you're staying busy.
We are.
There you go. Well, Mike, we appreciate you spending some time with Airborne and AEA 2023 live coverage. Any last words?
Just a little promotion of Avionics News. I'll be the spotlight for next month in May.
All right.
So grab your Avionics
Centerfold,
News.
I take it?
A small cameo.
There we
couple
go.
pages. Go through my history as a engineer and as a leader here in the avionics space.
Well, we'll look forward
lot
to
of fun.
seeing that. They do a nice job with their profiles. It's a singular honor, so congrats.
Awesome. Thank
Very
you.
good. Sure appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 66th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Orlando, Florida, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors: